Hi guys, Gemini season begins May 20th and it's going to include 2 eclipses and Mercury going retrograde. I'm here to break it down and tell you what it means for your sign. My name is Anastasia. Thank you for stopping by. I'm a traditional Western astrologer. If you're curious to know more about my work and get notifications for the weekly videos that I do, please subscribe to this channel, check me out on Instagram, or book a reading. There are links in the description below. So Gemini season, May 20th into June 20th. Quite big, especially because of the eclipses, especially because of the ruler going backwards and retrograding. So overall, Gemini is a domicile of Mercury. It's a young Mercury versus Virgo, which is a yin version of Mercury. And while Virgo sorts through the data and narrows it down, Gemini kind of like fractionalizes. Gemini sees all sides of the story. It multiplies. That's why a representation of Gemini is 2 twins. So, they can cover more ground, learn more information, spread more data, and so they can talk to one another when they get bored. I have a Gemini moon. I totally talk to myself once in a while. And it's also a very versatile sign, very talkative sign, very curious energy. And some of the pros of the season is that we will be more open-minded, we will be more talkative, we will be more connected to different people in our life. It's a lot easier to get along, it's a lot easier to see the other person's side of the story. Versus when Mercury was in Taurus, we may have been really stuck on our ideas and our way of looking at the world. We will be attracted to the mind. Venus is already in Gemini, Mercury being in Gemini. We're drawn to people's intellect and them having exciting ideas and, them kind of connecting with us on a mental level. We're better at texting, we're better at sexting, so expect a lot of that. It's also kind of easier to get past something. If you have been feeling frustrated, once again, Taurus holds on to things, and it's mostly about holding on to material things, but at the same time, it's also about your opinions and your views. So Mercury and Taurus might be yeah, I keep talking, but I know that this is right. So in Gemini season, Mercury being in Gemini, we're a lot better at hearing other person's point of view and turning the corner, and we don't feel as defensive. We don't need to, always be right. I think there's always I see your side of the story and I see my side of the story. And as much as Geminis get a lot of bad rep, this is one of their strengths. They always see 2 sides. I feel like Libra is very strong in that too. And another lovely thing for this is it's a beautiful time for writing, communicating, socializing, making friends. Mercury is already in its shadow and it's going to go retrograde on May 29th. So some of the stuff you write might need to be redone, but at the same time, if you're planning to start writing a book and you want to use this time to come up with the outline and kind of come up with a structure, come up with a schedule, you could be really, really good at that. And working behind the scenes it's a great time during Mercury retrograde to organize your thoughts and figure out the strategy. So when Mercury goes direct, you can actually go for it and achieve a lot. There might be a tendency to be a little bit flaky and jump around and maybe commit to things and then not always follow through. Something to keep in mind. And we can sometimes be too rational, but I think Jupiter being in Pisces at the same time should be very helpful for grounding us in emotions and focusing on the feelings a lot more. And I think the ability to talk about everything and sometimes keep a rational point of view could be helpful in sometimes. If you're having an emotional confrontation, if you're fighting with someone and you want to keep your cool. Some dates to note: May 29th, Mercury stations retrograde, and it's going to go retrograde until June 22nd. June 10th, May 26th, we are going to have a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. June 10th, there's a solar eclipse in Gemini. And then June 14th, there is a Saturn-Uranus square. So I'm going to focus today in the mini horoscopes. I'm going to focus on the Gemini house in your chart because ultimately, even the lunar eclipse in a way kind of releases the energy in the house that holds Sagittarius, and then it moves the energy into the house that holds Gemini in your chart. And I will talk more about these things as they come up. So if you are an Aries rising, Gemini is your third house, and Sun comes into your third house, bringing attention to your siblings, to your schedule, to your neighborhood, to your immediate environment, and your community. It might speed up your schedule, so prepare for more phone calls, more conversations, maybe even hanging out outside a lot more, you know, like meeting people at bars, socializing, enjoying your community. With Mercury going retrograde and the eclipse happening there, you might be going back to a previous idea. Maybe if you are a writer, you can look back at something you felt passionate about, and maybe you kind of decide to give that idea a second life and try it again. You might be, third house is also connected to communication, so quite literally you do a lot of communication, and maybe you need to rethink some of that. Like, you need to rethink who you give your time to, and are these people worth it? Your relationship with your sibling might come and be more prominent. Like, you might be collaborating with them on a writing project, or maybe you're taking classes together with them, or maybe you're helping them. Maybe you're taking care of their finances. Maybe you're helping them work on their car. And your technology might also come for review. Like, if your computer hasn't been working so well, now might be the time to actually replace it. So try to set some money aside, right? Like, be ready for that, and double check your schedule, double check all of the timings, make sure that the packages are arriving on time, and try not to make promises that you cannot keep. Another piece of advice I could give you is, since this is going to be a really busy packed time, allow some time to just chill, go for a walk, and enjoy your surroundings without needing to be on your phone. Like, leave your phone at home once in a while. If you are a Taurus rising, Gemini is your second house. So prepare to do some financial work. This might mean sorting through your finances, maybe moving money from one bank to another, maybe paying a debt out, maybe getting a loan for something, maybe getting a bonus. But Mercury going retrograde May 29th into June 22nd might mean you shouldn't spend the money. You should really be careful, because last year when Mercury was retrograding in my second house, I got a bonus, but then I had to spend all of it, if not even more, on a dentist. So for me, this was like the time, okay, you know, I need to sort through my insurance situation, and I ended up getting a dental insurance. So some of it might be happening for you. But overall, a lot of financially driven work, a lot of focus on, like, am I satisfied with the way I make money? Maybe thinking about a new job, maybe asking for more responsibilities and more money at the same time. So there could be a lot of that kind of stuff. And you might also find yourself buying something, because this is second house, spending money on a big purchase. So once again, with Mercury going retrograde and it's already in its shadow, be careful, because you might have to return that thing. You know, like, you buy a phone and then the phone doesn't work, or you break it and you have to return it. So be careful. Second house is also your self-worth and your values. So some of that might be coming for review. Like, are you valuing yourself based on how much money you have? Is it about your education? Is it about your bank account? Is it how many trips you took in your life? You know, I know some people who are really like, you know, I cannot go to the same place because I need to see everything. So you might be kind of like thinking about how your career path, perhaps, is it satisfying? Is it the way you want to keep making money, or do you want to change something? If you are a Gemini rising, this is happening. Gemini season highlights your first house, and this is your time to shine. This is your time to talk more, to socialize more, to be in the spotlight, be visible a lot more. It's your house of physical appearance, and Venus is there for a while, so you might find yourself upgrading your appearance. It might be hard for you to reject any desires to spend money. It's actually a really good time to treat yourself, buy yourself that necklace that you've been eyeing, take yourself for a hair appointment, get that massage. So focus on yourself. You might get a chance to speak more. Like there's a lot of action for Gemini risings in the 9th house of education, of travel, of like exploring new avenues in life. So maybe you're gearing up for something, you know, some kind of like teaching opportunity, some kind of an opportunity to start a podcast. Maybe you're trying to understand yourself, like take some tests, you know, take a test to be like, what is my personality? Learn more about your astrological placements, because you will find yourself rethinking how you come across to others, how you communicate, and what you pursue in life. If you are a Cancer rising, Gemini is your 12th house. And for Cancer risings, there's been a lot of focus on health and balancing those two, and like serving other people and taking care of oneself, and like how do you connect the physical body with your mental space and making sure you don't sacrifice one another. So there's been a lot of balancing, and this will be the time of introspection for you, and the time where you will enjoy alone time, meditating, paying attention to your dreams, listening to your intuition. Like, you know, dreams can carry important messages, or you might be seeing a number again and again, or you might be like seeing something that, you know, like listen to your intuition. You may have been feeling a lot of this already with Mercury and Venus being in your 12th house, but listen to whatever comes up on an intuitive level and pay attention to things that are blocking you, because that's what 12th house is. 12th house is the house of hidden enemies, and the enemy in 99% of the cases is ourselves. So how are you being hard on yourself? Like, I feel like there's so often Cancer risings are like really, really ambitious people, and people who seek a lot in life, and they're trying to prove themselves, but they're also being so hard on themselves for not achieving all of this yet. And just, yeah, like remembering that you need to be kinder to yourself, finding time to restore, recharge, meditate, and let go of some things. Like you might, this Mercury retrograde May 29th into June 22nd, which I will do a separate video on, it might be the time for you to revisit some of the past traumas and some of the past ways, past behaviors and things you've absorbed when you were little. If you are a Leo rising, Gemini is your 11th house, so prepare to socialize a lot more, prepare to network a lot more. There might be people in your community that will benefit you in a lot of ways. Like this feels like a really busy time that can help you forward your dreams, because, you know, Saturn is still in your 7th house, affecting your partnerships and kind of bringing that serious attitude towards partnerships. But then 11th house Gemini activation just means that making new friends and maybe changes in your relationship dynamics, especially after May 29th when Mercury goes retrograde. Also, like rethinking, you know, are these relationships helpful? Are they promoting my well-being? Are they supportive? Like, who supports you? Are you happy with people in your life, or do you feel like something needs to be changed? And one other thing, with the 11th house being the area of hopes and dreams, maybe this is the time to look back at something you felt passionate about like a year ago, 2 years ago, and something you never gave a full shot. Maybe now is the time to bring some of that back. That's like a big theme with Mercury being retrograde at the same time as the eclipse is happening on June 10th. There is a pool of energy, and there is like reignition of your friendships. Maybe, you know, old friends coming back, maybe joining a new network, maybe becoming a leader in your friendship circle, or taking on some kind of social cause. But Mercury is moving backwards, so you're looking back, like the new beginning that's coming from the past. And a great time to sort through, you know, and see like, are these relationships, do they satisfy me or do they not satisfy me, and do they need to be let go? If you are a Virgo rising, Gemini is your 10th house. So a lot of focus on your career, a lot of focus on your professional development, on your business networks. You know, this might be the time when you're starting a business. This might be the time when you're asking for promotion. This might be the time when you're starting a second career, because Gemini is a two-bodied sign. So a lot of times people who have Gemini in the 10th house, they might run 2 careers. So, you know, Mercury going retrograde on May 29th can bring some delays, or it might mean that you are rethinking some of the things. Like, you know, maybe you're not quite sure what you should do professionally. So this would be a lovely time to talk to your bosses, to talk to other people, to make a plan and see where you want to be in 5 years, right? Like, think about your public image, think about where you are in life and where you would like to be, and come up with a strategy for reaching that place and going there. If you are a Libra rising, Gemini is your 9th house. So this is affecting the area of education, travel, philosophy, religion, and your beliefs. And for some of you, it might mean, you know, going back to school, or a busy period of studying, or a period of closing a cycle of studying. Maybe you're thinking of becoming a teacher, maybe you're putting a lot of energy into that. But it's also the house of things you believe. And here you might be due for some change in your outlook on the world. So maybe, you know, maybe you've always believed that people who have connections get ahead, and then now you're starting to change that opinion with, especially I think like with Jupiter being in your 6th house, where it's blessing your area of service and your area of self-sacrifice, and you might start to think that success in life comes from working really hard, and success in life comes from believing in oneself, because our beliefs form our reality. So for Libra risings, this is very much kind of like a deeper transit, I would say. Yes, it could come through, you know, like needing to resit exams or retake something, or maybe if you are dealing with some legal situation, this might be the time when the case gets like slowed down and you need to bring more evidence if you're a lawyer, for example. But for a lot of Libra risings, this will be all about what you believe, and like how can you change the way you see the world so you can change your outcome. And watch out for, you know, like if you're traveling somewhere, that period of May 29th into June 22nd, make sure you're double checking everything, because Mercury being retrograde in your 9th house is not very conducive for travel. But maybe, you know, also look at things that you've been thinking of studying. Like maybe you've been dreaming about learning a foreign language. Now could be a great time to actually pull the plug and start doing it. If you are a Scorpio rising, Gemini is your 8th house, and it brings attention to your area of karmic debts, regular financial debts, money you share with other people, energy you share with other people, all of these exchanges, as well as death, inheritance, transformation, healing, intimacy. So many things to talk about, right? So as far as finances go, this could mean receiving a bonus. Maybe you are, you know, getting unemployment, or maybe you're receiving a bonus. Don't rush to spend it, because Mercury is going to go retrograde, and it might mean that the money that comes in will be, you know, I like the way of looking at Mercury retrograde as like cross-examination. You know, you call up the witness and you ask him questions, and then the other side like examines them. If I'm wrong, I'm not a lawyer, so forgive me, but there's definitely like kind of like bringing it back for more questions. So if you are applying for a loan, maybe this could be the time when the loan department, or people with the money, they ask for more paperwork, for example. So yeah, things might be slowed down. Like your partner's money might be affected as well, because it's the house of shared resources. So maybe your partner gets a promotion, or they lose a job, hopefully not, but like it might mean that something is changing in their finances. And as far as intimacy goes, Mercury being retrograde in this house, May 29th into June 22nd, might mean that you need to talk, and you need to bring up topics that are uncomfortable sometimes, and be more raw and open and honest and like unafraid, and let go of some of your fears and discuss, you know, and this is both like Scorpio and Sagittarius rising too, and like discuss things that might be uncomfortable, like have those honest conversations for the sake of deeper intimacy and stronger connection. If you are a Sagittarius rising, this is all about relationships. Gemini is your 7th house. Expect to spend more time with your partner. If you're single, you might focus a lot on your business or finding a partner. But I would watch out to get into something serious May 29th into June 22nd, because, if you get together when Mercury is going retrograde, maybe the relationship will lack clear communication. But of course, love is the strongest thing out there. So if you do meet someone, don't stop it because Anastasia said so. This is a great time for talking to your partner, going on dates, bringing harmony into your relationships. Venus is in Gemini, so there's doubling up of the beautiful energy. You will be more charming. It's better for any deals, signing any contracts, really good. But once again, when Mercury goes retrograde, some of that might need to be redone and rethought. And if you've been having any issues in your partnerships, maybe this is the time to talk them over and be open and be clear. And, are you in a partnership where you want children and they have been in an unsuccessful marriage and already have one and they're done? Are you in a relationship that doesn't have a future, and is that okay with you? Because for some people it's okay. Or maybe you feel like you need to change something in this relationship, and this honest conversation can set both of you free, right? If you don't see each other as a long-term potential. There's been a lot of action for Sag risings romantically, and I think this could be, especially June 10th, could be a really meaningful, significant moment. And of course, June 10th, the eclipse in Gemini, it's not necessarily a one-day deal, you will feel it a couple of weeks leading up to it, and you will feel it a few weeks afterwards. And it's important to try not to control things, be as flexible, but also be honest with yourself and people in your life. If you are a Capricorn rising, Gemini is your 6th house. A lot of focus on problem solving, a lot of focus on work, hard work, paying bills, doing laundry, maintaining your life, maybe taking care of your pets, taking care of your health. You might find yourself going to doctor's appointments just to check your, cholesterol levels or make sure that everything is running smoothly. Would be a lovely time to come up with a new diet, new exercise routine, and kind of, oil the gears in your machine. Try to clean out the closet, clean out your desk, make sure it's a great place to work at. So then when Mercury goes direct, you can push ahead for full speed. And Mercury going retrograde May 29th into June 22nd might mean some delays professionally. It could bring miscommunications with coworkers. So make sure to double check everything, and when you're sending work emails, make sure you're sending them to the right person. Try to not send a gossip email to the person you're talking about. Practice being more flexible. Gemini should allow it. And with that eclipse on June 10th, a focus is shifting from your spiritual well-being, your mental health. It kind of says to reach that mental health, you really need to go into your physical body and learn to be more present, learn to make better choices as far as what you eat and how you take care of yourself. And you need that Gemini versatility and curiosity to approach your health from a new point of view. Might be the time when you let go of a bad habit too, and something that will serve you in the long run. If you are an Aquarius rising, Gemini is your 5th house. And this is very lovely, I think, because this is your 5th house of romance, creativity, children. There might be, if you have kids, a lot of focus might be on your children. With Mercury going retrograde May 29th into June 22nd, maybe there are some issues, say your child's school, you paid and they're asking you to pay some extra, or maybe you don't know if you want to put them in the kindergarten that you wanted to put them in. So there might be some uncertainty around the topic of children. But overall, the season is great for connecting with children, and it's not just outside children, but also the child within. Are you having enough fun? Can you change something in your life to have more fun? What brings you joy? You know, it's Gemini, so maybe like puzzles, maybe word games, maybe going to a bar and playing a trivia game, finding ways to have more fun. And of course, this being the house of romance might mean that you are either getting into a relationship or you're having a lot of fun in a relationship, and Mercury going retrograde on May 29th might mean that you need to kind of find common ground together, or maybe find ways to have fun with your partner too. Maybe the relationship has felt a little bit stagnant. So use that excited, curious Gemini energy to go to a bar together, to sing some karaoke and play some games, even like play a puzzle together at home. I think that could be quite enjoyable. And if you're feeling uninspired, if you're a creative person and you may feel a lack of inspiration, this could be a lovely time to go to an art gallery or sit in the park, people watch, and find inspiration from the outward sources, as well as a great time to like hang out with kids and get inspired by them. And finally, last but not least, if you are a Pisces rising, Gemini is your 4th house. So this is all about your home and family. Maybe you're moving, especially May 29th into June 22nd, or even, like June 10th with the solar eclipse in your 4th house. Maybe it's time for you to let go of your old home and go to a brand new place. Maybe you're considering going to another country and like studying something. For example, with, Pisces being in your 1st house, there's a lot of opportunities for self-development. So maybe you're considering expanding your world through means of travel, and that would change your home. This could also be a great time to redecorate, to change the wallpaper, to bring new things, buy new furniture. Maybe you're selling at home. A lot of action possibly around home, real estate, family. It might be the time of spending more time around your family members, maybe connecting with family a lot more. With Mercury being retrograde May 29th into June 22nd, there might be family, skeletons coming out, and maybe you're learning secrets about your family. Maybe you are rethinking your origins and your roots and where you came from and what you believe. And like, 4th house is also comfort and security. Maybe you're asking yourself what makes you feel comfortable, and like, what is comfort and security all about? And is that being at home and being in the place that you feel good at, or is it about putting yourself out there and taking more risks and achieving things? It's a very subjective, I think, what is comfort? Like, it's a very subjective question. And Mercury being the planet connected to communication, you might also be looking at the ways you communicate with family members. Are they being too controlling? Are they trying to manipulate you into being a specific way? Is it the time to limit communication? Or maybe quite opposite, maybe you are reconnecting with family. Maybe a family member is re-entering your life. So a lot of exciting things. I hope this resonated. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Have a great Gemini season.